Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. And now you will never be able to use the excuse again that you didn't post because it takes you forever to create a post and you simply don't have a time and it feels like it's a full-time job and all you feel like you're ever doing is coming up with posts and images and captions and you're not able to focus on anything else. And how am I supposed to have time to do this? And how do all these other people do this online and then find all the right hashtags and do all the things? And I simply don't have it in me. And then therefore you end up posting awful regurgitated quotes that look janky as hell, or you end up only posting a couple times a week, which isn't going to work, or you just kind of give up on your whole goal and dream of whether that's to be a coach, whether that's to make a killing in network marketing, whether it's to be a blogger, whether it's to be some kind of influencer, whether it's to use social media in order to convert more strangers into paying clients for any business. What I tell my corporate clients on my other business side, okay, I have another company I've run for 12 years, TLC Enterprises, and that business focuses on digital marketing for pharmaceutical, medical, and health supplement companies. We do some lifestyle stuff too. So that's why I'm very well versed in the digital marketing space, all right, like Facebook ads, email lists, copywriting, social media posts, influencer campaigns, all those things. What I tell my corporate clients is no different than what I would tell you guys. I don't give a shit what kind of business you have. I have a client that owns a car wash right now, a very high-end luxury car wash, which is very cool, by the way. If you're in the Calabasas area, I can tell you all about it. But for brick and mortar businesses, for if you are a healthcare provider, if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, if you're a realtor, if you're a coach, if you're in network marketing, if you're a blogger, if you're someone who supports a nonprofit, I don't care what business you have. If you do not have a presence on social media and you're not using it to showcase and share your brand mission and your voice and to make sales, or if it's a nonprofit, to get donations, you've lost your damn mind. Instagram is the highest converting. Yes, YouTube, you can do very well on that, but you really have to have a much higher level of dedication and time and tech expertise to pump into those videos. So Instagram is low tech, high converting, and I want you guys to take that excuse out of your mind that either you've built already now and you've not even started because you're telling yourself, I don't know what to post, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do, it seems like so much work, I'm so tired at the end of the day, how could I possibly have time for this? And you've built up this whole case in your head that it's harder than you believe. Trust me, I get it. I do it with other things. I do it with having to work out at home right now. For the love of God, will the gyms please reopen in Los Angeles? It is a lot of time and energy I spend telling myself all sorts of crazy things about how hard it's going to be for me to work out, how boring it is, da 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 da. It'd just be better for me to just do the damn thing. I eventually do it anyway, because that's just how I operate. You know, I eventually do the damn thing because I do it for the after. I want the payoff, right? So I eventually do it anyway, but I do waste a lot of energy telling myself all sorts of craziness ahead of time. And so do you guys. So I'm going to teach you right now in this episode how to create a killer Instagram post in 15 minutes. So this is one feed post, which, by the way, fun extra bonus hack, when you create a feed post, all right, I want you to then do Instagram stories based on the topic of your feed post that day. You don't have to come up with a completely separate subject matter to get on Instagram stories, Instagram Live, IGTV to talk about. You can go deeper or further into whatever your feed post was that day, or you can share an additional tip or an, additional fact or additional information that you didn't share in your feed post. I don't want you obviously sitting there and reading your feed post on IGTV or in Instagram stories. I mean, that would be weird. But you give people way too much credit. 8 out of 10 people only look at your image and read your headline, period, end of story. And people have the attention span of a gnat, you included. Most people don't remember posts. That's why you can take posts from several months ago, if you're someone who's been doing this a while, and ones that did well, and you can recycle them and no one's going to remember. They might go, oh, I kind of remember Tiffany sharing that story before, but that's about it. And if it's good, they'll appreciate hearing it again. Just like all of you, I'm sure, have a grandfather or grandma who repeats fucking stories. And as much as you roll your eyes, it's something that you remember, and you remember the stories that these people have told in your families because they've told them so many fucking times. And that, my friend, is a great example of making your brand really clear. You have to tell them, you have to show them, and you have to tell them again if you want people to remember and to stand out. So here's what we're going to do. Number one, you are going to, in your notes app in your phone, I don't care what kind of phone you're on, Android or Apple, you are going to keep a running list of topic ideas that you feel your ideal client, the person you serve, and the subject matter, that you discuss are going to find really interesting, educational, enlightening, entertaining. And you're going to get ideas when you're watching Netflix on a Friday night. Pull out the phone, type it in there. Don't tell yourself you're going to remember. You're not going to, even if it's profound. I've lost some of my most profound, highly money-making ideas by not doing this. And it's not like they've ever come back to me oh yeah, what a great idea. So I want you to do that. Maybe someone will say something to you. You have a friend that's kind of an ideal client. She might not know it, right? And she says something to you or is complaining about something. Ooh, that's a topic. Someone might write a comment or DM something to you and it sparks a topic. You need to train and develop this content muscle in your mind. And it really is a muscle. Mine is highly developed because I went to broadcast journalism school. And as a journalist, you are responsible for coming up with really compelling, interesting news stories and angles to news stories and different takes on news stories. So mine's been developed for a very long time. But when I started ProjectME with Tiffany Carter about 2 years ago, I had to further develop that content muscle for all of you guys, and get more specific on the things that you want to hear, what would be helpful to you, what do you need to hear for that day. So because I have a running list now, if my brain is not properly caffeinated, I can just go look at that list and go, oh, I can talk about that. So you start having this great running list. Now it makes it really easy to batch content. All right. So that's where you're going to start. But I'm going to teach this to you as though you don't have a running list and you are starting as like a blank slate. So first thing is, ask yourself, what does the person I'm serving and what I'm helping them with, what would be really helpful for me to teach them today? Like, what's one thing I can teach them? And write that down. So why don't we just use this as an example? That's how I came up with this title. I came up with a bunch of podcast topics because I ask you guys what you want to hear topics on. So always DM me and let me know, hey, it'd be awesome if you could do a video, or it'd be awesome if you could do a podcast episode on this. I really want help with it. Let me know. So that's one, ask people. Number two is floating in my pool. I get my best ideas when I'm immersed in water. So whether I'm in the shower, the bathtub, or the pool, and I just clicked a button on my laptop, and it better not do anything because I'll be really pissed because I'm in a flow. I don't know how the hell that happened. It's wanting to do a software update. Well, that's fun. Let's hope it doesn't do that. All right. So for this episode, right, I asked myself the question, what is Sally Sandabs? That's my name of my ideal client. What is Sally Sandabs? What would be really helpful for her? Because I want to do some more educational content. You know, I love giving you guys empowering and enlightening content. That's really important too, to keep you guys motivated and get out of your head and do mindset stuff. But I also need to give you guys practical strategy so you can, execute these practical, clear, step-by-step things and make some damn cash, right? Because we're all about the cha-ching. So I was like, okay, I hear a lot of Sally Sandabs. I hear a lot of you bitching and moaning how long it takes you to create Instagram posts, Facebook posts, and it's consuming all of your time. And then now you have no mental capacity for anything else. And it seems like so much work, and you're already drained at the end of the day. And now you're trying to come up with it. And it seems like it takes forever, and it doesn't seem fun. It seems like a chore. And it's like, okay, we got to fix this. Because if you want to convert strangers into paying clients online, on social media, on digitally, online, period, you have got to be a fucking content machine. You could pay somebody, sure. Absolutely. I have a lot of clients. When you're a private client of mine, a high level client, I absolutely give you access to my team and to do that. And they can actually write the shit for you. But with that being said, you have to be really clear on your voice, your content, your tone, and all of those things in order to have someone do it for you. No one else can do that for you. So you still have to be a content machine yourself. This is your damn brand. All right. So I look at it like, okay, you want to know how to do this in 15 minutes. That's realistic. And then you can create, right? You can either do it in one sitting and batch your content for 2 weeks, knowing each post is going to take 15 minutes. When people say, by the way, batch 2 weeks or batch a month of content in a half an hour, bullshit. You fucking show me that person in real time doing that. That is a bunch of bullshit, unless they're regurgitating and repurposing a lot of content that they already have, which a lot of you guys don't already have that. So I call bullshit on that. I mean, come on now. Don't buy anything that says that. Because then what happens is you're going to try to use their method, which their method might be good, but you're going to try to use that method, and then it's going to take you an hour, and then you're going to feel like you've done something wrong. How is this person creating all this content in a half an hour or in an hour, and I can't even do one post? All right. So you're going to ask yourself that question, right? What does my ideal client, what does Sally Sandabs want? Okay. So she would really like to know how to create an Instagram post in 15 minutes, because it's the opposite. It's the solution to her problem. Her problem is the shit takes too long, right? And I know you guys have that problem. Believe me, when I got into this space, I started my Instagram from fucking zero 2 years ago. It consumed so much of my time. And here I'm running another 7-figure company. And I was like, this is crackers. And I love to write. And I'm obsessed with Instagram. Like, I genuinely love it. And I was like, this is crazy. This is consuming like hours of my day. So we're going to fix this thing. Listen, I'm kind of lazy by nature. I know it's probably shocking to a lot of you. I love like luxuriating. And I don't know if you guys like, I grew up in North Shore, Chicago with a lot of Jewish people, and they use the term like putzing around. Like I can putz around my house for freaking hours and I love it. And I have no idea what I've accomplished. Like that's just who I am. I'm not this like type A hyper Virgo organized person. I love being organized, but I have to pay people to do it for me. So I always find an easier way to do things because I don't do hard. And that's what I want to make sure I teach you guys. So you have your title. I'm sure you even came up with one now in real time. Okay. And if you're like, I can't come up with one, I'm stuck, I call bullshit on that. You're not stuck. You're choosing to be stuck. But if you're still stuck, and you still want to hold on to that, go look at other people in a similar niche and see what they're posting about. And you're not going to copy their post, but you're going to do your take on that subject matter. So let's say you're someone who does nutrition. You're a nutrition coach for young moms or something like that. And you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, go to other nutrition coaches who focus on moms. Go to their accounts, people who've been doing it longer than you, and look at their topics and go, oh, they're doing the topic of, I don't have the time and energy to be making like healthy snacks all the time for my kids, and I don't want to buy prepackaged stuff. So what am I supposed to do? Or is there anything prepackaged or frozen I can do that's healthy? And then use that topic. That's not copying someone. Say, oh, that's a great topic. I can say, what healthy, 5 healthy prepackaged snacks to serve your kids and save time or something like that. And you do your take on it. You're not copying their take. You're a totally different person, and you for sure will have a slightly different approach, and you share that. So you should never be without ideas. Go in Google and type in trending nutrition topics, right? Trending business topics, trending manifestation topics, trending fitness topics, trending topics in the accounting world, trending medical topics, trending gut health topics, and tons of blog titles are going to come right up. You should never be without what in the hell to talk about. Period. End of story. It's all there, and you're just putting your unique take on it. Then the next thing you're going to do is the most important thing, in fact, aside from your image, is your opening line, your hook line. Very important. And don't start tripping like it needs to be the most profound thing. I can get a little stuck on that sometimes, but it's your headline, right? Not that there are that many magazines, so to speak, anymore, but it's like a headline in a newspaper, a headline in Cosmopolitan magazine. It's your hook line. So using that example, my FMA example from my ass, the example of the 5 prepackaged healthy foods to save you time during snack time. That's horrible, but you know what I mean. You're like, okay, so what can I do as a hook line? Well, in that case, hook lines are really good when you're giving my three best tips too. My number one secret is 5 prepackaged foods. 5 prepackaged healthy foods to save you time in the kitchen. Period and done. Period. Feel free to just take that. I don't care. I don't own it. So that's your headline in that case, right? So now you have your headline. Don't overthink it. Your headline is to hit someone between the eyes, grab their attention, and they want that. So how-tos, using how-tos in a headline. When you tell them what you can get, like get rid of that bloat for summer. Here's how. There's another one. So just think in terms of, and a lot of these magazines are digital. So you can go like and look at the cover of like Cosmopolitan magazine, Glamour magazine, fitness magazines, even if it's not, if it's in your niche, even better, right? But even if it's not in your niche, you'll get a really good idea of, okay, these are great hook lines. Because in order for you to buy the damn magazine, right? It's the cover image that sells it, and it's those multiple hook lines that they have on the cover. This is no fucking different. So you have your hook line. Great. Done. Now you know that you have to share your 5 prepackaged foods, right? Just like for what I'm doing right now, I have to actually tell you how to do your killer Instagram post in 15 minutes. By the way, I want you to go look at my actual Instagram feed post that goes along with this episode, and you will see how I did that. That was done in less than 15 minutes because as you keep practicing, you can get it down. I'm not going to tell you you're going to do it in less than 10. I've never done a post. Rare have I ever done a post in under 10 minutes. And I'm a fast as fuck typer. So you might, though. You might. I can get distracted. But I want you to go see, and you better like and comment on it too. Okay. I want you to go see the correlating post to this episode. So you can see what I'm doing here and go, okay, there's her hook line, right? There's her opening line. And you can see all the things. All right. So you have the hook line. Now you know there's 5 things. So I need to list, these 5 things. It could be like, I'm thinking of that brand like Annie's. Annie's bean and cheese burrito, right? That has no GMOs. I don't know. I mean, I can't, someone's, peanut butter protein balls or whatever. So you have your hook line, and then, you should say something, right? You should say something next that's relatable, right? Something quick and relatable. You don't have to write all these paragraphs. In fact, you don't want to just have 2 sentences, but you want it to look, I'd rather see it look like a children's book, where you have one line and then you return a couple times and then you have another line. Like, it's much easier to tell yourself, I just have to list bullet points and key points. I don't have to write all these like eloquent paragraphs. Okay. You don't need to do that. So after your hook, you want a relatability, right? Where you're relating to your ideal client, a relatability statement. And that relatability statement in this case is, let's be honest, moms, much of the time, the reason why we're not eating healthy ourselves or not feeding our family, the most, nutritious meals is because we're exhausted and we just don't have the time. And so we end up, we end up calling in for pizza. We end up going through the drive-through. And I'm going to give you another choice because there's an assumption out there that all prepackaged foods are not healthy and they're filled with chemicals. And that's simply not true. Here are my top 5. I mean, I just did that FMA on here with you and you saw how fast that went. You're not making, again, some profound thing. You're just doing a relatability statement, right? I get you. I see you, ideal client. I get you. And you're sharing a fact. Like you're debunking a myth or sharing a fact, right? And you're debunking a myth by saying there is an assumption that if foods are prepackaged, they're automatically bad for you. And that's simply not true. There's a lot of great options out there. Here are my top 5. And all you have to do is do 1, Annie's bean and cheese burritos. 2, Barry's protein balls. That sounds really inappropriate. 3, Sally's kale chips, right? That's all you have to do. So then that's the meat, right? That's the meat. You're delivering the goods. And then at the end, there's 2 things you have to do. 1 is a call to action. You need to tell them where they can get more access to you, right? So whether it is to apply for coaching with you, whether it's to get on a call with you to discuss a nutrition program, whether it is to a freebie, whether it is to listen to a podcast, put some kind of call to action in there. And then the last thing you put is a question. I reverse these two sometimes. Sometimes it's a question and then CTA, and sometimes it's a CTA then question. I'm okay with you guys, playing around with that. Both have to be in there. And you always have to ask a question in your post. We forget this is a two-way conversation. This is a social platform. If you want more people to engage with you and to comment, you have to ask them a question. It'd be like in real life. If you went and said in real life to someone, "Oh yeah, I totally get that, how exhausting it is to be a mom, and most of the time you don't eat healthy because you're tired and you just order pizza. And so many people think that all prepackaged foods are unhealthy, but I have 5 that are great." And then you start listing the 5 and then you just stare at the person. That's what you're doing the equivalent of digitally. So you have to mimic what you would do in real life online. So in real life, you would ask a question, you would ask them a question, or you would tell them to write something below. Like, do you have any great, let's all share our prepackaged or nutritious prepackaged food recommendations below so we can all get more ideas going. And so you're telling them to drop that in comments below. You could also ask it in the form of question, like, what is your go-to nutritious prepackaged food? Drop it in comments below. You guys see what I'm saying? So very quick question. You have your CTA. Your CTA can also be to, DM you. And you can switch those. So let me recap. You have you're going to drop in and ask yourself, what is my ideal client? What's one thing I could teach her today? You come up with the thing. You do your hook line, which I gave you examples of. You do a relatability statement. Then you give the meat, the thing you're actually teaching. Then you give them your call to action, tell them what you want to do, and then you ask them a question in order to continue engaging with them in comments. And then of course you have to include, right, your hashtags. So with hashtags, I want you guys to create batches of hashtags. There's a little more work up front if you've never created batches, but the work up front is totally worth it because it'll pay off for months and months and months. So you need to at least have, the more the better, but you need to have at least 3 to 4 batches of 30 hashtags. And you can have them saved in your notes app. You can have them saved on your computer. So all you have to do is copy and paste those hashtags every time. You don't want to use the same grouping every single time. So you definitely want to change it. So yes, it'll probably take you to create, solid, not blowing it off and phoning it in, a solid 3 to 4 groupings of good hashtags. That exercise might take you an hour, but that hour of doing that is going to pay off for months and months and months of where you don't have to do it every time. So you definitely need to have those batches already there. And if you want to know more on hashtags, there's a separate episode that's like a few weeks back that is all on me teaching you hashtag magic. So you can go listen to that. Then, of course, it's like, Tiffany, what about the image? What about the image? Well, one, if you're, in it to win it, and you have professional, this is why it's so good to have an influencer photo shoot for whatever you're into. And if you don't have the cash to pay a photographer, then you need to have a friend who really knows how to use the phone. Or you need to take pictures of yourself using a remote control press button thing and a Diva ring light, something like that. And then you have batches of it to go to. But yeah, you're going to have to create an image, and an image and the hook line are the 2 most important things. So I don't want you sitting here spending tons and tons and tons and tons of time on some elaborate, the most profound, caption on earth. And then now you don't have time for the images. You can I like having images done after the caption, right? So now I've done the caption. I know what I'm teaching the people. Now I can have an infographic done that matches it. Or now I can have a really cool quote, or a text-based graphic that goes along with it. Or if it makes more sense, I can ask myself, what kind of image would be best paired with this? Sometimes it's a picture of you. Other times it's a really cool stock image that's on brand. Other times it's an infographic. Ask yourself what pairs best with this and what is scroll stopping. If it's not scroll stopping, don't bother using it. And again, like I told you in your notes app, when you're keeping all of this running ideas, for posts, like I was saying, just keep that in your phone. I also want you to build your content muscle, also includes images and videos. So when you're out walking around, when you're out and about in your house, you're like, oh, this would be a really cool video. Maybe you're at a store and there's a really funny mug that's on brand, and you take a selfie of yourself with that mug. Or maybe, I don't want to see pictures of like flowers in your backyard, like unless, you're a landscape design artist or something like that. That's not going to cut it. But like, look at different ways you can use things in your house, or if you're meeting up with friends and have someone take a few pictures of you with your friends all laughing, something like that. So make sure you are looking at what are the photo ops around you, and then you end up having a bunch of images on your phone that you can go to. What happens to me a lot of times is I will get an idea for a picture of something, and I take that picture, and then I'm like, God, what caption what can I teach that would go along with this picture? Sometimes it happens in the reverse. So you're going to end up working this content muscle over time. But the thing that I don't want you guys doing is phoning in your images. I cannot handle ugly, weird looking text-based graphics. If they're not on brand and you wouldn't stop your scroll for them, don't use it. Don't regurgitate basic quotes. Those don't work. Quote yourself. Use a text-based graphic. You know what you stop your scroll for and you like. So why would you put out content that you wouldn't stop for? That's absolutely ridiculous. Now, if you're someone who's like, Tiffany, I know my ideal client really wants infographics and text-based graphics. I'm just someone who doesn't have the time and I don't enjoy making those things, even though I have Canva, but I really just don't enjoy doing it. Well, then you can hire a virtual assistant for very, very reasonable money to create all your graphics. And you just provide them with all of your captions, your batched captions, and they can create graphics to go along with them. So don't be sitting there and spending hours doing it unless you love doing it. Have someone else do that part for you so you can get that done. And if you're absolutely adamant about doing it yourself, that's fine. I did mine myself. I used higher end stock photos, meaning I use like paid stock photos, not like Google free images where like, it looked pretty basic. So I did that. I asked a couple friends who are photographers if they had any images that they would be comfortable with me using. And I gave examples of images that would be really cool and helpful. And I said I would credit them, but I didn't have to like pay for them. And I knew that they would be unique. So I did that. Then I started experimenting, taking my own pictures. Almost everything you see except my professional photos are all done on my phone. Now, granted, I make sure that I have the latest iPhone because it's going to be the best quality camera. But I didn't when I started. I absolutely didn't have that. So you just want to make sure that you don't phone in that image. Get really creative. I think that's like the most fun part is getting really creative. You can stage things in your house and use props and have fun with it. If you don't enjoy creating content and getting better at creating content and coming up with creative ideas and having a vision and doing all that, then you absolutely have to pay someone to help you with the digital marketing, social media side of your business. It will absolutely not work. Period. End of story. If it feels like an arduous chore to you and a pain in the ass and it's not fun and you dread it, I'm not saying there aren't some days you're in a mood that you dread. I mean, there's some days I dread everything. I even dread eating, which is shocking. Even me making a coffee can seem like a lot of work on some days. So you'll have some of that. But if you don't, for the most part, love it, like I love it. I say all the time to myself, if I could just sit and create content all day, which I do create a lot of content, but if I could just do that all day, that'd be fucking amazing. And that's one of my goals is to get Project Me with Tiffany Carter to a point where I have a robust team. I have a great team now, but an even more filled out team to where I can truly just focus on making content and delivering great content all the time. That's how much I love it. So I have to say that for those of you who are wondering how, some other people or follow have had such great success, it's because they love it and they thrive off of getting better and better and better and better at it. If you guys love this episode, do me a favor, go write a 5-star written iTunes review. I would really appreciate it. Take a screenshot of it, DM me, and I in turn will buy you a coffee drink of your choice or a blended juice drink of your choice to say thank you. And I need to also add this. You want more help with this kind of stuff in more detail and have direct access to me for all of your business and marketing questions, really go check out the Project Me Posse. So it's at projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. For $100 a month, you learn live from me every single week in weekly training classes. Also, I bring in special guests, which you have direct access to them for Q&A as well. And you get access to over 60 plus hours of past training videos on all different topics, from how do I start a podcast? How do I create content that converts? How do I design a paid printable that people will buy? Mindset stuff, manifestation stuff, Enneagram stuff, business strategy stuff. All of it is in there, and it's $100 a month. It's absolutely crazy for you to not join. You can cancel it any time on your own, because I don't want anyone in the posse who's not excited to be there. So go check it out. projectmewithtiffany.com/Project Me Posse. We are over 75% sold out already. So you want to get in there. Do yourself a favor. Check it out. Join us. Love you guys so much. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Talk to you soon. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.